Hi friends, welcome to my channel. I am Sonique, and yesterday I recorded a video. I edited it, uploaded it, and I don't know what's happened. It's disappeared into the ether for some reason. YouTube, I'm sure I uploaded it to YouTube. Well, I uploaded it to YouTube, and then it went to processing, and then it disappeared. So I'm doing it again. But obviously I can't remember everything that I said in that video because I don't script my videos. They are as I think of things, as I'm saying things and thinking things. You know, that's what I record. Anyway, I don't plan them. That's what I'm saying. So I know what I was saying at the beginning of the last video was to do with the Witch's Garden and how I'm getting on with it, and I found I was having a problem. Now, I was drawn to this deck because Sasha Graham, I've got a few Sasha Graham books, and I think Sasha Graham's writing is great. It's really informative and it really helps you to deep dive with decks. And the artist, I've got the Compendium of Witches, and I really like that deck. So I had high hopes of this. I thought, yeah, I'm going to really enjoy it. And then when I opened it and I was doing the walkthrough, I'm going to admit now, I was rather not taken with it. I don't know if that sort of come across on the video, but that was what I was experiencing. And I thought, well, I'm not going to give up on it. Decks are expensive these days, and so, you know, it's worth actually exploring the deck and giving it a good chance really, and working with it. So I decided I started with a deck interview spread, and it's one that I've actually adapted from all the deck interview spreads I've known. I've honed it down to what I want to know from a deck, and that is just 4 questions. I'll probably blur a lot of this out actually because obviously it's my journal. But anyway, the first question: what advice would help me to learn with working with you? I've got the 9 of Pentacles. The second question: how might you help me grow as a reader? The third question: where will I struggle? And then the 4th question: what is your biggest message for me at this time? And I got some really, really good hits from that. What I decided to do there was work from the image. Look at the image, look at what I was seeing, and go from there. And so, just for an example here, I'll show you this bit. Okay, there we are. So I had the Wheel of Fortune in how might you help me grow as a reader. So what I did is I took the elements from the card and listed them out to see what that would tell me. And so we have a tree here. So from that I got branching out. A young boy, fresh eyes. Owl, wisdom. Flowing water here, so an emotional outpouring. A lotus in the middle there, so growth from mud and the subconscious and from within. The snake there is shedding outdated beliefs. The fox, well, the fox was alert. The cat was relaxed, and here. And then we've got Pan here against the tree, in tune with nature, because it's one with nature. And then from the book, I just noticed down that the lotus was moving from darkness to light. The owl was clear vision, wisdom and stability. And then the keywords were movement. And the question, what can I focus on to bring peace? So that's how I worked with it. Well, it's one of the ways that I did with the interview. And then I decided to do a card of the day. And I've been doing that I did one this morning, as you can probably see. Anyway, this is the spread that I decided to use. And this is from Benabel Wen's Holistic Tarot book on page 806. And these are the card positions, 1, 2, 3, 4. And here are the questions. So the overall outlook for today: what crosses my path, yesterday's unfinished business, and the upcoming goals and objectives. And that's been working really well for me. You do reading notes, initial thoughts, and then end of the day feedback on that. It's a good spread. And that's what I've been doing. And I have found, don't judge a book by its cover, because actually it gives more than I thought it would. And I really started to connect with that deck. And I think the lesson there is, stick with it, you know, don't go by first impressions. Where I was disappointed are in the court cards. Doesn't seem to be a lot of information given for the court cards, so I was rather disappointed with that. I mean, I like the fact that the Knight of Pentacles is represented here quite differently, but I would have liked more text in the guidebook from that. But yeah, I mean, this one, the Ace of Wands, that gave me one heck of a lot, because there's just so much in this card to work with, really. So, for instance, like we've got a bridge across water. So crossing our emotions, you know, being able to find a path. Then, talking of paths, there's a path here that we can work with, and where it's leading us to if we choose to take that path. So there's two paths there, really, isn't there? There's one over the water, and then there's one towards maybe our goal. We've got this weeping willow that speaks to me. We've got a portal here. What's there? We've got what looks like a fountain, possibly. There's lots of little bits of information on this card that I found really useful to work with. We have mountains in the distance, so you know that can be challenges, can't it, to overcome. And then we've got the snake on the wrist, so that, yeah, not just a hand holding a flaming wand here, but a lot of symbology we can work with. Even, you know, the trees are being blown there in the wind. So how our thoughts can like blow us off track. But yeah, there's a lot of things I can work with this deck, I found. So yeah, that was my lesson. The lesson I learned the last few days was, don't judge a book by its cover. It's worth working with, and I really didn't think I could. I thought it was just surface level, you know, you're looking at something like that and I went, oh yeah, okay. It just didn't give me anything the first time around, but by journaling, by working with it, I have found actually it's a really, really good deck. So that being said, and me on my little witches theme just lately, as I'm saying, I don't identify as a witch, and then I turn around and realise, yeah, I have a besom. Had one for years. Yes, I've got a wand. I've had it for years. Beautiful. It's not handmade. It's natural, polished and varnished by a friend. I have a silver goblet. Well, it's not actually silver. Well, needless to say, I have many witchy tools. I don't have an athame. That is something I don't have. Maybe I'll get one if I go to Glastonbury at some point. But yeah, as of now, I don't actually have one. Anyway, I say, and I've said it for many years, I don't identify myself as a witch, and I don't. But why do I keep buying witchy decks? I think I'm going to have to actually delve into my own psyche a bit, really. Anyway, I treated myself to the Solitary Witch Oracle by Lucy Cavendish because I like Lucy Cavendish, and I have quite a few of her decks. The last one I bought of Lucy Cavendish was Into the Lonely Woods, and I found that it's a beautiful deck. The artwork is gorgeous. It's by Dan May, but there's another deck that's very, very similar to it. But anyway, I found it rather melancholy, and I found there was a danger to actually slip into that way of being for a while, and I didn't find it too healthy for me. But yeah, that's my last deck that I had from Lucy Cavendish. This artwork is by Lady Victoria. Like I said, I've already did the unboxing of this, so there's no cellophane on it. And it's a beautiful deck. It is an absolutely beautiful deck, and I will share it with you. This is the front image. And we've got this here along the edge of all the cards in different colours actually, so that's nice. It's a thumb cut out box, so it's quite easy to take apart. The pentagram there, it's beautiful lilac-y colour inside the box. It's a Blue Angel deck, and Blue Angel is one of my favourite card stocks. I love the way it feels. This is the back, which is quite shiny. And actually, when I was doing that walkthrough, this is the card that I drew to look at, which is strange. May all your readings be magical and ever so blessed, dearest solitary witch. So this is the guidebook. Nice big writing, thank you. Lucy is of an age quite similar to my own, so she understands, I think, that small type isn't ideal. So we have here a quote. We have the content, so we have an introduction. It's quite a large introduction, how to work with the cards, and it's very detailed. If you're new to card work, it's very good. Then we go on to the cards, and we have 45 of those. Then about the author, about the artist. The introduction reads a little bit like a fairy tale, which is really nice. But again, it feels quite aimed at a particular audience, and I don't know if I am a part of that audience, and I'm having this trouble with a lot of decks actually. But the introduction, you can see this, the introduction here, and these first pages are really good. A bit like that Witch's Garden, you know, the first section of that book is brilliant. If you're new to tarot, it's really good. So yeah, it talks a lot about connecting with your deck, cleansing your deck, all that sort of thing, enhancing your readings. So it tells you about other tools as well, so essential oils, crystals, herbs, ritual objects. And then we have some layouts. Card a day, 3 wishes spread, variations on a 3-card spread, and Lucy's version of the Celtic Cross, and then a example reading there. And then some more. And this was quite interesting because it talks about directions, so diesel and widdershins, so left, you know, clockwise and anti-clockwise. And what's interesting there is because Lucy lives in the southern hemisphere, obviously it's nice that she actually puts this sort of information in this book for those that do live in the southern hemisphere. And we have another spread here, and when this text was written was actually 2 years ago. Then we go for the card messages, and we do have age diversity, which is great, and the cards give us about a page and a half of text each, and that really is the guidebook. That's some of the other offerings. So the Book of Shadows and Light, which is, I've got a couple of those actually. They're really good, where you can write in your own Book of Shadows and Light, if you like. And she talks about that at the beginning of the guidebook. And I think also, was it at the beginning? I think it's also on one of the cards as well, which I saw. Yeah, card 18, her Book of Shadows. And that was one of the cards that I was looking at in the walkthrough here. And what it does here, it actually informs you how to keep a Book of Shadows, but not by giving you a set of directions, but by actually giving you the story of the person on the card. So it begins, some nights she takes her book, the one in which she shares the dreams of her soul. She records the spells she casts and results she begins to see. So you can see then it is an information page really, but done in a very subtle way. So yeah, so I will walk you through the cards now. It's, let's see, 179 pages with the about the artist and the author here. But yeah, that's the book, and it's a nice silvery, shiny text on the front, and that shiny design on the sides there. And like I say, this is echoed on the cards, and some of them are one colour, and then we have different colours as we go along. So as you can see, hues, lots of different hues along the sides of the cards. So yeah, I'll do a little walkthrough now. Inside of the bottom of the box is that lovely lilac colour again. Okay, so it's a larger deck because it's an oracle deck, so oracle decks tend to be larger than tarot decks. So for your comparison there's the Rider-Waite-Smith. Okay, let's have a look at the cards individually. So we start with wishes, and you might be able to tell, I don't know if you can, but it looks, you can almost see the canvas underneath, which is nice. Got maiden energy here. I'm not quite sure if that's possibly a cat, but we can see a fae being there as well, which is nice. And there. Her herb garden. Cat in background. I must say the back of these cards is tremendous. Absolutely stylised beauty. Gorgeous. Yeah, blings. The Beltane Lover. So it does acknowledge the Sabbats. Look closely, she is not lonely, and we see there's an owl there on the shoulder. I noticed in this deck there's a lot of beverages, a lot of possibly tea. I'm not a tea drinker myself, but I do acknowledge that there are some brews that are very healthy. The comforts of friendship. So it's very much a fantasy deck, you know, with the witches' hats. But it's nice for this time of year as we're coming up to the darker days and Samhain. She sleeps with the stars. So as I say, it's a very romantic deck. It's got quite a youthful feel to it. The Dance of Water. The Healing Tree of Letha. Nice. Yule's Night. So this is what makes me think this is based on the Northern Hemisphere, this deck, because Yule's Night, and we have quite a cold atmosphere here. The wolf looks very relaxed. Big full moon. The next journey beckons, and we've got a path there leading out from wherever we are. The witch shows her daughter the moon, so here we have mother energy. The owl. I'm reading through the guidebook a little bit. This actually reminded me of what I was saying in the last Deacon video about the Nine of Pentacles, and that although we choose to be alone, it doesn't mean we're always alone. We have times when we do connect with other people, but then we step away again. Her knowledge runs deep. So yeah, this deck sort of reminds me of a Nine of Pentacles energy, actually, when I think about it. The 13th Esbat. Little fox. Self-initiation. Sweet Ostara harvest. Got some constellations there in the sky. Was she once sulky? And this sort of really reminds me of Lucy. Lucy is an avid surfer and loves nothing more than being in the sea. There are other conversations. So connection with spirit. Her book of shadows. The gathering. So here we have not so much a coven, but just a gathering when the times call for that. The Maiden and the Immel clan. Sky there. Magical manifestation. And if you can see there, what looks to be an altar with a heart. Lots of lovely little details, the tattoos. The maiden, the mother, the crone. Got a deer there as well. A cauldron. Looks like a castle. Spells from the hearth. So we've got the cauldron brewing there in the fire. The crone in winter. I often think, it's a shame that when we see the crone depicted in our cards, it's normally within a winter scene, as if, we're cold and old. Old and cold. Why can't we see crone energy in the spring or in the summer? Little pet peeve of mine. Ancestors and apples. Nearing Skyclad. They're just about to get naked under the stars. It reminds me, I remember watching films where they were all dancing naked around a fire, all these women. And it used to put the fear of the goddess in me, because I don't know, that you could see that they were building energy, and it was just scary. And I think that was the intention of the film, actually, was to scare us. But yeah, there was a lot of programs like that back in the day when I was a youngster. It sort of put me off this path for a long, long time. It was deemed unsafe, dangerous, and we had virgins on altars. Not good. Anyway. Spells of rose and cacao. I think these days, we're more open, aren't we? We're more informed. We know it's not what it was purported to be, and maybe that was just to put us off and stop us from finding our own empowerment. Again, I'm harking back to that book that I've been reading, The Once and Future Witches, because this is all about empowerment and how women have been disempowered over the years, and how we're just about now being accepted. I mean, it's taken a long, long time, hasn't it? It's so ascending. This was a lovely card, actually, when I read it out of the book. I really enjoyed that one. The Releasement. Beautiful hair. Oh, to have hair like that, eh? when fretful times come. So we're looking at not just only the light, but also the shadow, which this deck does really well, actually. The company of trees. I know that feeling, wanting the company of trees. And sometimes she changes. And here we have a change to a mermaid. Once upon another time. We have a unicorn energy here. And Lucy has written an alternative fairy tale book, which I actually haven't read. The Blessing and the Banishing Candle. Crone energy again. A Gentle Path of Inspiration. Look at the cat reaching up. It's the witch's hat and the stripy tights, you know, that sort of, I don't know, it's a bit of a tired aesthetic in my opinion. I don't think witches have to dress up and look like goths, you know. Again, all opinions expressed are my own. The witch's house. You know, it's just conjuring up an image of what a witch looks like. And if you go to anywhere like Boscastle Witchcraft Museum, I think you'll find it's not quite what you envision. The aesthetic is a little bit different, I think. A little cauldron. Maybe it's just dressed up for acceptance and a way in. The milk of her mother flows. The garden and hallowed moonlight. There's a lot of moon energy in these cards as well. These seems to be the repeating themes of the moon, the tea drinking, very much so. Lunacy, forgiveness and justice. And the Sabbats, yeah. Broom of her own. Need to make a clean sweep sometimes, don't we? She is moonlight shy. And there we've got them peeking out from behind the safety of a brick wall. They're not coming out of their comfort zone just yet. I think that's might be quite interesting one to look at in the guidebook, because I've got a feeling I know what that might be about and I want to confirm it's okay. The charging of a wand, so I presume that's going to tell you how to charge your wand. She is 1,000 flowers, and we see a pregnant image here. Transcendent amidst the everyday. Oh, that feeling of reading a good book, and you know, even though things are going on in your environment, like this cat's trying to get some attention here, but yeah, you're just oblivious, aren't you, because you're so wrapped up in what you're reading. The world melts away. This is the number 13, quite interesting, isn't it, that they've put the number 13 in on the book page there. What's that image there? Trying to make out what that image is in the book. I love looking at little details. Anyway, let's look at this card here, card 42. She is moonlight shy. So is this someone a bit afraid to come out of the broom closet? Is that what that is? Let's see what it says. Okay. A path lit by moonlight beckons. There is a gap in the wall she has built around herself. So yeah, it's a comfort zone. And into that space the moonlight flows, calling her forth onto her path. Oh, if ever you've seen a full moon shining across the sea, you actually feel that. You could walk across the path and it's beautiful. Selene is for me, the goddess of the full moon. She gazes from behind the door, wondering how the power of this full moon will feel. She can already sense the magic pouring into her veins as her familiar absorbs the light of the lustrous path of La Luna. So we've got the cat here. She knows this full moon will bring something to completion, to a place where it must be acknowledged and spoken of and owned. But still she is not ready. But a part of her, the part that belongs to her familiar, is ready. Her wilder self feels the call, and before long the rest of her will follow. She will no longer hold back. She will no longer cut off parts of herself to please others. She will no longer hide so much of herself for fear that it will be misunderstood. She knows that when she steps onto the path of moonlight, when she ceases being moonlight shy, her witch nature will blossom and her magics will increase ninefold. Interesting that we've got the number 9. I know I'm talking about the 9 of Pentacles as how I feel this deck is. That's crazy. Anyway, she still feels some caution, fearing she is not ready to become all she is meant to be. She does not entirely know what she is meant to do with the power and force she can feel flowing through her. But like her familiar, who trusts in the path of the moonlight, if she just lives fully, less fearfully, with less constraint, if she breaks the invisible chains, if she unshackles her wrist and casts off the guilt and the shame and the doubt that never was hers to begin with, the freedom this brings will be the way. The time of living fully in the moonlight is coming. Step out from behind the door, dear witch. Wait no longer for your life to begin. The ocean of your life beckons. It is yours to dive into. She is moonlight shy no longer. And then we have a meaning upright and reversed. So upright is the pause before decisive action, hesitation before embracing full power, knowing the time of waiting is almost over, the courage to become your most powerful articulation of your soul, stepping fully onto the path of the magical being you are, embracing your magic, no longer denying its existence or dismissing it as imagination. The power within becoming greater than the hesitation born of fear. Willingness to be guided by intuition and instinct. Then reversed we have hiding, having secrets from others and yourself, being unsure of whether the magical path is entirely for you, fearing you may tip over into a kind of otherness that will separate you if you fully step into your own truth and power, wishing you could do something secretly, not knowing how to become who you wish to be, shying away from the path of moonlight, delaying what you know is your truth path, pulling back due to lack of confidence, overthinking and uncertainty, anxiety over decisions, particularly ones about being your true self, continuing to wait and see rather than stepping into what is being offered, hiding behind structure. What a brilliant explanation of fear, really, isn't it? It's all about fear. And a beautiful image as well. It seems that the path goes in 2 directions here. I don't know if that was meant, but we've got like a light path here and we've got like a shadow path there, that's quite interesting. And a starlit sea, the moonlight. Beautiful, beautiful cards. Anyway, that's my second look at this deck. I think it's well worth it. I really enjoy it, even though it does feel like a very youthful feel to it, which isn't always my preference. I like things with a lot of meat in them, that's why I like tarot. Oracle is a bit more subjective for me. Lovely cardstock, Blue Angel. Beautiful feel to them, and the back is gorgeous. The artwork is really, really nice. So that's my little walkthrough and thoughts on the Solitary Witch Tarot by Lucy Cavendish. My second walkthrough. And until the next time, friends, thank you so much for watching. Bye, friends. Bye.